Alright, hello everybody. Thanks for tuning in and welcome to my easy survival base and 579 starter house. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right in. We're going to start by having a look at what we're going to need, what kind of inventory we're going to need. Okay, so here we go. Starting with the bottom row, you're going to want, now this wood, you can have really any kind of wood you want. I picked these couple of woods because they're woods that you commonly find when you, in very early game, and a couple different wood types just so we have some contrast, but really it could be any wood. So anyway, in this case, we're going to use 28 birch planks, 61 birch stairs, 54 oak planks, about 3 stacks of cobblestone, 12 oak logs, 17 window panes, a stack of torches, and then moving up to the next row, going left to right, we need just over 2 stacks of some sort of slab. Really, again, it could be any slab. I'm using the smooth stone slab because I like the way it looks. Then we're going to use 14 oak slabs. Again, could be any slab. 2 buttons. I'm using oak. We need 4 gates and 24 fences. I'm using oak on that. And then since we're using birch for the accents, I'm using 3 birch trap doors. And those are purely cosmetic, so not necessary at all. But if you can swing it, it looks good with the other birch. 2 doors of any type. I'm using oak. We're going to need about a half a stack of sugarcane, a bucket of water, about a stack of seeds, a bed, an iron door. The iron door is going to be for the exterior perimeter wall, so you can probably want to use iron on there. That way nothing can break through. A furnace, a couple chests, and a crafting table. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right in. So you're going to want to pick a site, and we're going to need about at least 25 blocks wide, so I went ahead and made sure we had that here. So because we have a hard perimeter over here where the water is, I'm going to go ahead and start my wall over here. All right, so we're going to do a circle perimeter wall. And the way this is going to work out here, we'll go a little bit close. All right, so we're going to start with, let me see where we are. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to start with 7 blocks. 6, 7. Okay, then we're going to move over 1 and do 2. Then we're going to move over again and do 2. Move over again and do 1. Move over again and do 1. Now we're going to change directions. Now we're going to move over to the right and do 2, move over and do 2, move over, and now we're going to do 7. Okay, now we're going to start going back. So we're going to move over to the left and do 2, 2, 1, 1, change directions. Okay, and then we're just going to follow the same pattern. Okay, and that lined up. If we go up and take a look from above, we've got a pretty decent circle here. It's about 25 blocks from left to right and top to bottom. Okay, we're going to go ahead and finish the wall after we get the house built. First thing we want to do is we want to pick one side that's going to be our front entrance. And since that faces water and that faces water and that faces a hill, probably will make this the entrance. So we're going to go ahead and go to the center block and just break that out. And that's where we're going to put our iron door. We're going to build this wall up in a certain way in just a little bit. But let's go ahead and start working on the house. Now this again, you might have seen this from my episode 1 of my survival series that's currently going on. I refer to it as 579 house because that's simply the outer dimensions of it, so it's easy to remember. In this case, I should call it 975 instead because we're going to start with the outside dimensions. So since we know that that is 7 blocks and the outside dimension of the house needs to be 9, if we line it up even with that, we know we're going to have 9. Okay, now we got to go 9 this way. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, now we're going to start with the oak, and this is going to be our perimeter. So again, we're going to leave that break right here because that's going to be the front door of the, oops, I placed those too far forward. We need to come in so that it's set in one from the So if we were to look up from above, we want that to be set in so that this perimeter is going to fall within the square that we created with the oak logs. Okay, and then that should leave us with a 5x5 interior, which it does. So again, the way we get the 579 house, 5x5, the oak is 7x7, and these are 9x9. Okay, so we're going to dig down one for the interior. Okay, and we're going to break that out as well. Okay, so now we're going to go to the birch. Now we are going to break some of these out to get some of the functionality, but just for so that it makes sense while we're construction. And I'm going to go ahead and fill these in. Okay, and under the front door, just for the sake of efficiency, because we're going to pack a lot into this small footprint, we're going to go ahead and use our crafting table under the front door. Okay, so now we're going to finish building up the house. Okay, so I'm leaving the spaces open where there's going to be windows. So we need an oak plank on each side of the door there to protect the door. One of these in each corner. The rest of these are going to be windows. Okay, so now we got to go with the upper level. Okay, there you go. So we got our frame. Let's go ahead and put the windows in. All right, we're going to put our door on from the outside. And since we used this is the first of 2 doors here, and so since we used a crafting table, we're going to have to crouch when we place this door. Otherwise, it'll just open the interface for the crafting table. Okay, great. And so let's go ahead and pillar up here. And while we're up here, we're going to go ahead and start placing the roof. So I'll go ahead and get a stack of these slabs queued up. And again, we're going to have an oak post on each corner. So that's why these are going over by 1. Okay, so we got our roof on. Let's go ahead and finish up getting the 4 corners going here. All right, now this next part is really just cosmetic. And we're not going to do a whole lot of, oops, wrong block. We're not going to do a whole lot of cosmetics. So we're going to place some stairs here. And we're going to come in here and turn that stair. Frames out the door quite nicely. Okay, we're going to do the same thing up top. All right, and on the front, this is where we're going to use the trap doors. It's a nice little look, and we're going to show some, I'm going to show you a discrete lighting technique as well, so we don't see a bunch of torches spammed everywhere. These kind of look like a light, if you will. So we just put these out here and fold them down, and they kind of look like lighting. Okay, so we'll get to the lighting in just a minute. So we're going to finish going around the perimeter of the house. That's what some of the rest of these stairs are. These are just going to go straight across. Okay, so really, again, those were purely cosmetic, but they do give some dimension to the house. Okay, so basically the exterior of the house is done. Now we still have to finish the fortification of the wall, and let's work on the interior functionality of the house some. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and place a bed over here in the corner. All right, now we're going to break a few of these blocks out here. Now we could have just not placed these blocks to start with, but while you're constructing, I find that it can be fairly useful to go ahead and place them just so you don't lose track, especially if it's your first time building this house. Okay, so the first thing that's going to go in these first couple, and again, the reason we are setting these into the floor is because it's a small house and there's going to be quite a bit in here. So this helps it not seem so crowded, even though there's a whole bunch in here. All right, so now we're going to place a furnace next to the chests. So you have a double chest there. And now we got a furnace. And this is this next step is really cosmetic as well. So we're going to go ahead and place a couple of stairs from this side. That way, while you're over here, it makes it easy to access these items. All right, now we're going to break this block out, this one here. We're going to break 2 blocks out there, and we're going to put a full block there and a stair here. What we're doing now is we're creating a staircase down that will allow you to go mining from inside your house, which is just a great little added benefit. So that way, if you're not real secure in the early game and you want to have something to do at night, then you're covered here. So we can go down and then we just start digging. One more down, and then we just start digging this way. All right, and then right here, this is where we placed the other door. Okay, so now you would just go through this door and start digging your tunnel down. Go ahead and go on down to a diamond level, whatever you want. You got a door at the top here, so nothing can come up and break into your house in the middle of the night. So outside of a couple of torches in here, we just need to put a couple torches so that nothing can spawn inside the house. You've got a highly functioning house here with all the basic stuff you need. One of the neat things about this house is you can see all this space up here. It's a full block wide, so you can put you can't put chests up here because they won't open, but you could put chests along the bottom perimeter over here, and you can put other things. You can put stone saws, more furnaces, cartographer table. So this house can really get you going. By the time you outgrow this house, you'll really be ready to go pick a site for your base. Okay, so let's continue to work on the outside some. All right, so the next step is, here's how we're gonna make this wall highly functioning. All right, so we're gonna start on one side of the door, and this is gonna be 3 high. And once we did this first one, so now here's the pattern. So we got 3 blocks, 2 blocks, 1 block, 2 blocks, 3 blocks, and then go back down to 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, etc. Okay, so what we did was we used the door frame. Each side of the door and above the door is 3 high. Okay, then starting from here, we just went 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2. And we did that all the way around. Okay, so what we're going to do now is anywhere where there's more than just 1 block high, we're going to go ahead and place a slab on top. Okay, so we just went around, and anywhere where it was more than 1 block high, we placed a slab. Okay, so now So we got to think about this as if you were a hostile mob wanting to get in. Obviously, you could get in anywhere where there's 1 block high. So let's go ahead and fix that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go around perimeter. Anywhere it's 1 block high, we're just going to close that off. We're going to leave the 1 block that's on the interior side, but we're going to make it so that the other blocks are 2 blocks high. Okay, so if you're a hostile mob, you can't get in on these on a diagonal, so we don't have to close it off completely. And really, you could, and it wouldn't make any difference, except visually it's going to look better if we don't. So all I'm doing is I'm going around, and where I can get away with just putting 1 stack and it closes it off, that's what I do. And I'm not capping the single block high or these barrier blocks. I'm not capping those with the stone, and that'll make sense in a minute. I'm not capping it with a slab like I did on the other ones. And once we finish this and go inside, it'll make complete sense. Okay, there you go. So now, if you're a hostile mob from the outside, once I put that iron door on here, there's no way for you to get in here. Everything is at least 2 blocks tall. However, from the inside, you've got several defensive vantage points. Anywhere where we started with 1 block high, you could jump up here, and now you've got a line of sight. You can fire on them with a crossbow or a bow. If you needed to, you could jump up here and hit them with an axe or sword and come back down. They cannot get in. So this is a pretty handy little feature here. And the little caps on there really honestly weren't necessary, but if you were to take, early game, you're likely to have just cobblestone or something simple. But once you get silk touch, or if you want to go ahead and heat some of these cobblestones in the furnace, you can texture up this wall and vary the block types, and it really starts to look good. So now we've got a functional house. We've got a fortified wall with defensive positions. Now we'll come out here, and we're going to go ahead and put our iron door on. And again, we're using iron so that zombies can't break it down. All right, now in order to open this, we're going to need to use buttons. I like to place the button on the side that the handle is on, so that way I know which way the door is going to open. I just do that consistently. Makes it easy for me. Okay, now the next piece of functionality here. Now we've got a house, we've got a wall. Now we want to be able to thrive in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to create a little bit of farmland here. So some of our most important early game crops are going to be sugarcane and wheat. So here we're starting a little sugarcane farm. All right. So I'm in creative mode, so I'm going to have unlimited water. Otherwise, you might want to have 2 buckets. Or if I was not in creative, there's a river right out there. I could go out, fill up my bucket. Once I get past the first couple of spots, then this becomes an infinite water source, and it becomes very easy to fill this up. Now, once I fill this with water, I like to cover the water with slabs. And the reason I like to do that is because when you're farming or when you're harvesting your crops, they fall everywhere. When they fall in the water, if you get into the water and then you jump out, you can trample your tilled land, and then you have to get your hoe out and retill it. It's not really that big of a deal, but it's just one of those things that's an annoyance. So I'm in the habit of doing this. Now you could use stairs. There's a couple different ways you can do this, but this way, all these blocks are still going to get hydrated. But when you harvest, especially the sugarcane falls everywhere, it's not going to fall in the water. It's going to fall right here, so you can just run right over it and pick it up. Now, I'm thinking ahead, and I want to work on the discrete lighting right now because otherwise I'll have to tear up the sugarcane. So what we're going to do, what I mean by the discrete lighting is, now you're going to need a shovel because we're going to use path blocks. Now you can use path blocks or you can use leaves, but in early game, you're very likely to have a shovel. So we're going to use path blocks for this. The reason we're going to use path blocks around the perimeter of the house to do the discrete lighting is because path blocks are semi-transparent. So now, if you don't want to do this and go through the extra time, you can just simply spam some torches on the outside. Will work perfectly well. It'll light everything up. Nothing will spawn. That would be just great. But if you want to have your lighting a little bit more discreet, you can use this method here. And now, again, if I had silk touch, this would be no big deal because I could just pick up some grass and place it back. But the reason I did the path blocks first, and now I'm going to do what I'm about to do here, is because you don't have to wait. So like, for instance, what we're going to do is we're going to dig out a block, dig out another block, and dig under the path block. And then we're going to go ahead and place a torch under there. Okay? And then we're going to take and we're going to put a block, a dirt block back, and it will turn back into regular grass. Okay. Now, yes, it would be easier just to dig down 2 blocks and place the torch and then put a dirt block back. But if you did it that way, it'll work just fine. But what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to wait for that dirt to turn back into grass so that you can hit it with your shovel and turn it into a path block. Because the light won't go through the regular grass block the way it goes through the path block. So we got a torch under there. And then we'll put our dirt block back. Because it's touching grass, that dirt will turn back into grass. So I'm just going to go around the perimeter. Okay, we're just going to fill in the last few grass blocks here. All right, so now we've got a path. We got path blocks all the way around the house, and every path block has a torch underneath it. In the daytime, doesn't look like much, but at night, this will be quite effective. Now let's go ahead and we want to go ahead and dig down in a few other spots because we want this same effect to happen around the perimeter of the house. And we'll just go ahead and we'll do a few spots around the wall, and then we'll have plenty of room because this light here from the house will go quite far, but it won't quite go all the way to reach the outside. And you don't want mobs spawning near your wall, but on the inside of the wall. Okay, so we've got some light all the way around the house, and it doesn't look like much right now, but when it gets night, you will see that it works pretty good. Okay, so now we got to work on our wheat farm here. Okay, so the thing about the hydrating the water for a farm is 1 block will hydrate 4 blocks in each direction. So if we come in from the wall, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to dig. That should be about center. Yeah. So we're going to make that a water block. And then again, we're going to cap that off with a an oak slab. All right. Now we need to grab a hoe. So we got 4 directions in each, 4 blocks in each direction. Okay, so we got a nice little wheat farm here. All right, let's go ahead and get some sugarcane down. Okay, and now let's deal with a little bit of room for livestock. So what we have the fences for is to make a little livestock pen here. And we're going to go ahead and make the pen right here. And we'll do a couple of gates here to make it easy to get in and out of. All right. Now, one last thing. We got to fix this here because now this is going to be a little pen area for whatever you want. Cows, sheep, maybe a mix of both. Remember, this is a starter base, so you could actually put a fence across here and divide it and have cows on one side and sheep on the other if you'd like to. But we have one more thing to figure out. If you've got livestock in here, they'll be able to climb right up here and right out. But they can't figure out angles. So if we put a fence post there and there, they will not be able to get out of here. Even though we can come over here and hop up on there, your cows and sheep will not be able to figure that out. So on most of these, there's 2 sides. Boom, that one's safe. On this one's a little trickier. There's 3 sides, so you have to do 3 over here. Again, they won't figure out this angle thing. So they see this block is occupied and that block is occupied, and they can't get over fence posts, so they won't be able to get over that, and they'll be secure in here. All right, there you go. That is it. So now if we hop up here and take a look at this, we've got a survival house. We've got a pretty cool looking wall there that's also got defensive fortifications from the inside, so you can defend yourself pretty well. You've got some of your most important starter crops here. Of course, this farm here, I did wheat, but you really could divide this up into wheat, carrots. You could make it, all 4 of the basic crops if you want. I just find that wheat is great, especially if you're breeding cows and sheep to get started, because you have plenty of sheep to feed them and wheat to make bread for yourself. And then you've got your sugarcane here, so you can build up your paper supply. And then, of course, you've got your cows over there, so you can get leather and start making books and be moving towards enchanting. And at night, this is going to give you plenty of light here. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and make it night in just a second, and we'll have a look at the light that this throws off when it is dark out. All right, well, the sun's going down, and I'm just doing a little perimeter here. You can see that there's quite a bit of light in there. And if we come up from directly overhead, you have a good look. And I've tested this, and mobs do not spawn inside. So you're in good shape here. You also could go around the exterior. You can see some of the light actually bleeds through these blocks as well. You could go around the outside and place some torches here, and then that'll keep mobs a little farther away from your house as well. But as you can see, you've got a pretty good setup here. Didn't take that many materials. You've got really all you need to get going and get a good start in the world. It's not a bad looking little setup. I like the way the wall looks pretty random, even though it was a fairly mathematical process to do this. It looks kind of random, and that's pretty cool. Now, if you took all these cobblestones, like I said earlier, and vary it up with some andesite and some regular stone, etc., it would look even better. Look really cool. So there you go. There you have it. A nice, easy survival base that you can do fairly early game. All right, guys, I think that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you found it at all helpful, it'd be great if you would like this video. Consider subscribing to my channel, where you'll also find a survival series going on right now that you might enjoy as well. So again, thanks, and we'll see you in the next one.